What's up, everybody? This is Pastor Parker. Have you ever wondered how to pray? If so, you are not alone. That's actually one of the most common questions that I get from people is, man, how do I pray? And today what I want to talk about is that we're going to talk about prayer. Why? Because Jesus talks a ton about prayer. We're actually at the part in the Sermon on the Mount, which is what we've been going through, where Jesus is going to tell us how to pray. So stick with it. Here we go. Let's learn how to pray together. So how do you pray? I get asked that all the time, and what I want to tell you is this: you already know how. Some of us have forgotten, some of us don't know that we know how to pray. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spend the next 28 days, that's every single day in the month of February, learning how to pray. We are so excited for this. We're calling it Pray 28. And what it is just a way to teach us how to pray. In Luke chapter 6, Jesus' disciples, they said, Jesus, teach us how to pray. And then Jesus went on to give them what we call the Lord's Prayer. Maybe you have that memorized, the Lord's Prayer. We're going to talk about that all throughout every week in February. We're going to talk about the Lord's Prayer. Jesus says tons of powerful things, and it's all underneath this premise of, Lord, teach us how to pray. Prayer is just as simplest talking with God, learning to listen to God, learning to hear God's voice. So if you ever wanted to learn how to hear God's voice, stick with it. We're going to talk about that throughout this month, and I'm confident that God will speak to you because I'm sure he already is, but it just can be hard sometimes to learn how to hear God's voice. So why we're doing this is that prayer is so important to followers of Jesus. If you read through the Gospels, Jesus spent a ton of his time doing what? Praying all the time. He prayed before he would heal people. He would go away early in the mornings and he would pray. He would pray and then he would multiply food. And so many of us don't pray, or we don't think we're praying, because we think that there's a way that we should pray, and then we're afraid that if we get it wrong, maybe our prayers won't come true. But prayer is just talking with God. But it can be hard to learn how to talk to God if you don't know him. It's like maybe you're making a new friend, and at first you don't know what to talk about. You don't know how to talk to them. You don't know what you have in common and what you enjoy. But over time, as you guys continue to build your friendship, it gets easier and easier to talk. Prayer works a lot like that. We get to learn how God talks to us, and we get to learn how to talk to him as we get more and more comfortable in this conversation, in prayer with God. But I just want you to know today, if you are like, I don't know how to pray, and man, I want to learn how to pray, I want to learn how to talk to God, I want to learn how to hear from God, I want to learn all those different things, you're not alone. The people who followed Jesus, his first disciples, they came to him and they said, Jesus, teach us how to pray. And so that's how we're going to start. We start by saying, Jesus, teach us how to pray. If you'll remember from way back at the beginning of all of this, in this series, Jesus, he gathers his people together and he calls them his mathetes. And if you remember, that word means disciple, or another way to translate it is student. And so we are going to be Jesus's students again. We're going to ask Jesus to teach us how to pray. And as students, we're going to be like ready with our hands open to learn from Jesus how to pray. So every day on Instagram, we're going to be putting out different ways for you guys to connect with God, to learn how to talk with him. There'll be a small picture where it just has a short little prayer prompt. And then if you click the description, it'll be a longer form prayer for you. And we hope that you begin to use those things and begin to talk and dialogue with God. We're also going to be putting out different videos for you guys to watch and participate in. And we're going to be asking you questions and then responding to those things. We're going to talk about crazy stuff. We're going to talk about miraculous healings. We're going to talk about demons. We're going to talk about the brokenness of the world. But we're also going to talk about simple things like thanking God for the food that we eat and engaging him in just simple conversations. We're going to talk about asking God to come and be with us during our tests, but also when we know we're going to rock something and we're confident in it, not just when we need him. This is going to be a great next 28 days. But we're going to start with this. We're going to start today just simply asking, like Jesus' disciples did, Jesus, would you teach us how to pray? And throughout these 28 days, we are going to trust that that prayer will be answered. And if you stick with it, you will come out of this knowing how to pray with a deep and beautiful relationship with God. So we can't wait to help you guys learn how to pray over these next 28 days. So guys, blessings, grace, and peace be on you. We pray for you every single day. I pray for you every single day. I love you, and I can't wait to see what God does in your life through these next 28 days. So come on the journey with us. Let's learn how to pray as we go into Pray 28.